Hank, if somebody suddenly falls ill and there's a need for very good care, what do we do?
That's interesting. Generally, we need some form of support, and often that's often around family. However, if we don't have family and we don't have financial assistance for that, we have to start looking at asset sales. We have to start thinking about selling our properties or the assets that we have in order to pay for our care. Today's society, it's become more and more relevant because of modern technology and the way medical science has advanced. We're now far easier to be able to not only sort of identify what people have, but also what the prognosis is going to be, what's going to happen. And so, you know, we've all know of people who've heard of instances where people have been diagnosed as terminally ill, and our medical experts tell us, look, this is the condition you've got, and look, this is what's going to happen, and look, you've only got this sort of period of time. When we get into that sort of situation, ultimately we're going to need some sort of care, and that's going to cost. It's not free. People think it's free, but it's not.
Barbara Lee, I guess in many cases a spouse can't actually give up work and do that nursing full time.
That's right, and that's when it gets really difficult for people. So that's when, you know, a good plan would have some funds coming in at those moments. So you've been diagnosed as terminally ill, then...
And it could be brain tumour, it could be cancer, it could be a whole raft of different things.
That's right. I mean, the majority of us, that's what happens. We have some, you know, period of terminal illness, before death. A quick death is, you know, quite low. Statistics about 1 to 5%. So most of us are going to have this period of time. So how do we get funds in there to, you know, allow people to, you know, finish work and maybe to source some medical needs? They might have a list on their bucket list that they want to do while they're still able to. And yeah, so it just gives people choices.
This isn't covered, Hank, by trauma insurance as I used to know it?
Trauma insurance is covered or is claimable upon specific diagnosis of a set condition. When it reaches a certain level or you're diagnosed with a condition, a lump sum is paid. It has nothing to do with either income or the outcome of your condition. And in fact, trauma is only payable if you survive 14 days. So it has nothing to do with terminal illness. Terminal illness is about where you are diagnosed as terminally ill, and you can get a payment based around your life insurance. So most life insurance policies these days have a terminal illness benefit, where if death is imminent or likely within 12 months, you can claim your life insurance early. You can claim it upon the diagnosis.
So that's the lump sum. We're talking here about triple feed, aren't we? So is there a product now that for example, I'm on my own because all my family's in Australia?
That's right. So some people don't have that need for that life cover. There's no purpose to it. However, you know, we all, if you were diagnosed with a terminal illness, then certainly funds coming in for yourself is something that would benefit you. So there's this new cover called terminal illness, which is about 1/3 of the cost of life cover. So
and it's standalone?
Yes. Yep. So it really does suit a lot of people. Those people that don't have a need for life cover, then there's definitely terminal illness cover available.
I guess we're talking about somebody who doesn't have a mortgage, for example.
No liabilities, no dependents to leave any funds to, no desire to leave any funds to anybody. But, you know, for themselves, if they were put in a situation of being diagnosed, then they've got funds coming through to go and, you know, get their Harley Davidson or go on a holiday or whatever it means to them.
So this is interesting because this, Hank, would normally not be a standalone, but you're always changing in your industry.
Yeah, absolutely, and we need to change in the industry because circumstances change. Once again, I've already said that modern medical science these days allows us to predict a lot better what's going to happen, what the outcomes are. But quite rightly so, as we get older, there's probably a lesser need for life insurance. It's not about what financial assistance the people we leave behind need if we die, because we don't have a mortgage, we don't have dependents, we don't have all the other things that are normally associated with death causing a financial impact on the people we leave behind. The problem we have these days is not the dying, the problem we have these days is the getting there.
It's the living.
Yeah, it is the living.
Because we're propped up, aren't we? I mean, the medical science keeps us alive for a hell of a long time.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so terminal illness, and it's available right now.
Absolutely. Yep.
And so as I said, you've got life insurance, but if you're through that page,
Yeah.
There
and
is other products.
it's just looking after people, because you know, in my age group, there's a lot of guys and girls who have literally said, "Well, I've got to have to give up work because I've got to look after my partner."
Yeah. The other aspect is if you don't have that lump sum, then, as I said earlier on, you've got to find that money somewhere. And look, you can get government assistance, but a lot of that's asset tested. So before you actually get that assistance, you've got to sell your assets. So that might be a home that you intend leaving to your children as part of your inheritance. That all of a sudden you've got to dispose of that because you've got to pay.
Peace of mind. Sorry.
Well, the other thing is, you know, like funeral covers, very expensive product, and there's other ways to fund that type of event as well.
Yeah.
You know, through a good quality medical policy that gives you access to drugs that Whāmek don't fund, that also have inbuilt funeral benefits. So, combination of that and terminal illness, that cover can certainly give some people some certainty around those types of occasions.
Certainty. Thank you very much indeed to you both.